So Renata is going to give a 10 to 15 minutes brief presentation on the hub, and you can ask her any questions at the end of that. And right after that, we'll jump into our government lab talks as we planned. And this might push our lunch a little bit. We may be done by 12:30 instead of 12. The lunch will be waiting for us outside, and then we can take an hour for the lunch and slightly shift the agenda.
Thank you. So we already got the brief description from Srinivas, but one of the main things for the hub is this idea of breaking silos, bridging solutions, and accelerating partnerships. So this, I particularly would do a short personal notes. So my background, my PhD is in biophysics and population genomics. And we got into big data, as was mentioned by the Materials Genome Initiative, is because of all of the next generation sequencings, the new tools that come out, and how that translated to all of my research time. This is a paper that we're doing for worldwide populations. And looking at databases, data structures, interoperability, the uncertainty quantifications you've been talking about today. And so it led me to know that this was not going to be solved lab by lab. It's not something that you need policies, you need structure, you need format in order to get a community around it. So this is the presidential initiative on big data, which was an industry, government, and academic endeavor to put in, at that time, around $200 million in new funding for R&D in this space. And so I ended up working at NSF and doing a detail in the White House Office of Science and Technology, looking at the federal space and big data, and what were the really important challenges across all of the agencies, which translate a lot to our academic experience and in industry, which is tools, education, infrastructure, data access, big data, translating the data to actual knowledge, and privacy, ethics, security, that comes up a lot across many domains. And then this aspect of coordination, and that's where the hub is. It's in coordination. And part of it is to coordinate the big data innovation ecosystem and promote partnerships across different disciplines that can really address the grand challenge. So actually realize the promise of big data. So it's said that, big data can help with all of these different industries, all of these different manufacturing, but you need multiple players in the pipeline to make that actually happen. You need academic, but you also need commercialization, you need federal funding, you need cities in some cases, government labs. So this is where the hubs fall in. So the question we get sometimes is why regional? There's differences among different regions for different application areas. Specifically to the south, you have varying grand challenges. This is a very federal term that affect the south. This is climate, this is a healthcare example. And so for the South Hub, this is only showing our partners, but we have over 500 members just for the South now, which is industry, academia, and government. This is 16 states with industry partners looking at how it can benefit all of the players involved. So how do these partnerships mutually benefit academia, industry, and government? So we had an all-hands meeting last year, 200 people coming together to do these ideas of spokes, which Srinivas talked about. We got 70 spokes for the South, and each spoke is supposed to be a industry, academia, and government partnership that can be funded up to the level of $1 million for actually solving some of these grand challenges around big data in different verticals. So the hub is structured as geographic regions. There's 4 hubs. Each of the hubs have their different theme areas that are basically areas of interest to the community in that hub. And then the spoke projects that'll be funded as of the next 2 weeks for the first round of which projects would actually be these intersection areas and trying to address these grand challenges. So these are our themes. These are the 7 areas. There is materials manufacturing, coastal hazards, healthcare, habitat, which is smart cities and grid, industrial big data and energy, and economics, privacy, and policy issues. So that's where the bridging solutions comes with the hub. So, but the background in genomics or the background in materials, and are there solutions that can then cross these different verticals that would be beneficial to the different communities? So that's one of the driving factors as well. So spokes can be these grand challenges. There's also 2 areas that it can also address besides grand challenges, which is automation. So automating some parts of the data lifecycle. We actually have talked about this for materials in a lot of places, and data sharing and asset sharing. So that's another area for the hub. These are just examples of different types of things that can be spoke projects, which you will gloss over for right now. And our structure. There's 3 areas that we're highlighting as being core hub functions, and these are the things that actually entice me, besides Srinivas's good in negotiating, but also to leave my research for a second, to be able to do these things, get education, community partnerships, and data infrastructure. So those are going to be very high focuses for the hubs. And then the different vertical areas we're actually putting out for the community. So we're going to seed a lot of endeavors like this. We're going to get partnerships together, but we really want it to be community driven. It's not going to be the hub deciding, it's the community deciding what is necessary and needed for you. So these are a few of the things that have happened. We have worked with the White House office to make census data more accessible through data science, to teaching data science to youth. We have a program that was run by our UNC partners for connecting graduate students to data-related startups. We ran a program here that's called PEPI, that some participants in these workshops will be, where we sent early career faculty members to industry partners to actually bolster that research industry connection earlier in faculty careers, to really be able to have those nimble and multidisciplinary and in cross-disciplinary partnerships form early. So those people will actually be finishing this summer as well. These are a few of the community engagements. We did a congressional briefing for the science committees. We went to the different federal agencies that fund big data, talked about the hubs. This meeting in August, we have several other meetings that will be similar to this in different areas. So it will be in energy, which is the September 6th, energy and smart grid. Health disparities, health analytics, precision medicine will be September 19th and 20th. Also here, also looking at data in the nonprofit and public space. So how can data do things for data science for social good, or data kind, or different organizations? Teradata is a very big provider of solutions for data infrastructure, and they're very interested in this space of using data for this kind of social aspect too. And also doing a workshop on mobile health and health disparities. So this is just some interest from the federal space, DHS, NASA. We've had talks with USGS. NSF, of course, has put in a substantial investment. They are their primary funder for the hub. But also industry. So Microsoft has given the 4 hubs collectively, $3 million in cloud computing credits, which will be working with the research community to look at what types of projects those can be used for. Also numerous academic and industry partners that are interested in putting forth services. So putting forth the idea of these are things that are available that we can make more publicly known through the hub that can get wider adoption and use. Because there's a lot of solutions that don't get used because people don't know where to find them. They don't know that they exist. There's no trainings on them in other ways. So we're trying to also look at that too, kind of federating some of the solutions. So we saw this slide already. I thought that other people would be here when I gave it the second time. So this is a way you can contact the hub in general. And if you have any specific questions, you can ask me later.